Hey everybody, it's BATJAC J W, and yeah, I figure we bring this back out. It's a slow morning. We got a little bit of noise going on outside, but we'll try to chit chat here about this and everything. So we're going to slow the roll a little bit and just kind of talk about this beautiful specimen. Yeah, I figured it's been a while since we brought it out. Yeah, it's a Cimarron. Yeah, so it's made by Uberti, or this one here is a Uberti, somewhere in Pieta and whatnot. You know, so you get the 4 3/4. It's a 3840 in caliber, and I'm pretty sure we already know what we're talking about. You got all the literature and everything. As usual, they're really cool bumper sticker and all that. But there's the gun, the revolver, single action revolver, no doubt. Really cool stuff. I was always I had many of the 45 Colt caliber, and you know, something got me on this one, and you know what, we're gonna talk about that. Get some coffee going. 3840, interesting cartridge, very interesting. Never messed around with one, so we'll get into that. But this thing has been a fine shooter. Because of the caliber, as a hand loader, that was really important. We get into hand loading, and if you're going to get into this, you're definitely going to want to be hand loading, without a doubt. So you're going to need to set up a machine and all that, because buying the rounds in itself is quite expensive. But you can still get them. I think Black Hills and whatnot makes them. So what we have here, I changed a few things on mine. As you can probably see, the John Wayne style yellow grips. These are the original grips it came with right here. Those are the original ones. They even have the little Cimarron pony. Nothing wrong with them. I think they're even, are they serial numbered? Yeah, they sure are. I never noticed that. Actually, just noticed that right now. But I changed out the grips, and also I changed out, as I found out, when Cimarron, or you know, not, I keep saying Cimarron, they're just the importing company, but Uberti, and this one is a Uberti. Let's see, where does it? I forget where it says it. Right there. Yep. Uberti, Italy. As I found out, they changed some things, and one of those things they changed is the safety system. And what they did was they added this strange little gizmo thing. The trigger itself has like a little shoe on it, and then it on the trigger pull, that shoe pushes up on a system inside the hammer, which is strange. Goes up behind the firing pin and then pushes it forward, so it can strike the round. So traditionally, and the way I always, when I mess with these, even when I had one that was with I used to have one, it was a Beretta made one, and it was called a Stampede. It was one of the first ones I ever bought. Since then, let it go. But it has a transfer bar system. Even then, I only loaded 5. I always kept that hammer on an empty cylinder. I just, you know, old habits, or just the way, you know, it just kind of always was taught, and the way I messed with these things, I always did that. But these ones here, the older ones, especially before they did this system, you certainly wanted to do that. Of course, they had some other safety things where you could push the retaining rod here, the cylinder rod or whatever. You could push that in all the way to the first notch, I believe it was. They had 2 notches on them, and that would bump the hammer out away from it just a little bit, so you could successfully do that. That was one way they did a safety. But the old school way, you load 5, you load 1, skip 1, and then you rest that hammer down on an empty chamber. So But I took that whole system out because what I found with it was it kept fouling up. There was times where it just wouldn't successfully fire the round. It just it hung up. It's a very faulty system. I didn't like it, and so I removed it. This is what it looks like. This the little pin that holds it together and everything, and this little wedge in the back here. We'll just go ahead and take it out since we're just hanging out today. This little gizmo here pushes up behind that firing pin and then allows it to fire. Well, I just did away with all that, and then I made up some copper shims and put it behind the firing pin itself, so the firing pin is now correctly forward in the correct distance and everything. So I chose to make it out of a softer metal because I didn't want that metal on metal contact. I figure I put a little buffer in there. You know, it's easy enough for me to replace those little copper shims I made. Now the other thing I did replace the spring in it with a I think it's a Wolf product or something, but makes for cocking it a little bit easier. And I'm not trying to make a slicked up, you know, single action or anything like that. So the grips here, you know, I made these grips myself. You guys, if you've been around the channel a lot, some of you are new to the channel. I started making my own John Wayne yellow grips when the little incident happened where I used to have the Rooster shooter, and it had the original like type grips like this, and that's what these are actually modeled after. When I'd made these a while ago, and I made them model after the original grips that were on the Rooster shooter pistol back when they first did the first run of those. Now they're kind of, I gotta say, I'm not impressed with the new grips, but the ones that I did see in the early days, especially the ones that were on mine, they were made by Bar S, and they did a good job. So, and then I got a little book here that's fun. A friend of mine saw this book and got it for me, and one of the cool things about this book, it's this intimate look at the legend. I know you can't see that, but in it, it has a wonderful photo of his revolver right there, and of course his holster and belt rig and everything. I didn't bring all that out to the table. There's no need to. We got plenty of videos of it. But there it is, and I put the finger grooves on it, and I don't know if you can tell it in the video or not, but I always like to alter my things and make it a little bit different. Now these ones I made with, I just went with the plain mellow yellow look. I didn't want to add any kind of aging to it. I just wanted kind of just the plain look. But this side of the grip is a little bit of a shade different in color than this side. I did that on purpose because again, I was trying to replicate the ones that broke on me, and so that's what the original on those, the color was like that. I don't know why, but one side was a little bit more like darker, and the other side was a little bit more kind of a subdued yellow. But without a doubt, you can still always tell they're yellow grips, and that's what's really neat about it. And of course, it's all with the Duke, and big fan of those movies growing up, so I had to add that on there. But the cartridge in itself is strange, because the 3840, as I've been always like, I just love that 45 Colt. That's where it started with me and everything, but something about the 3840 got me. This is, if you've never shot one, they're so accurate. They're unbelievable. The accuracy is crazy. A lot more accurate than I could ever be, but even for me being a terrible shot, it's it can actually shoot pretty well with them. So you can see it's a bottleneck cartridge, and the casing, this is a brand new one from Starline, so you can see just how significant that shoulder is on that casing. Now I've loaded up all kinds of different ones here that I've done up. I've loaded and it's basically a 401 diameter bullet, basically 40 caliber. I got these here are the polymer coated ones from the Regan Enterprises, otherwise known as Badman Bullets. Check them out. You order 1,000, they ship for free. I believe he's still doing that, but I know with everything's so backed up. But he's been a great supporter of the channel, so check them out, and they're very accurate. I've got a lot of video footage of his rounds, or his projectiles, bullets, doing a really good job in accuracy department, splitting playing cards and all that kind of fun jazz. Also, you know, just standard lead and everything, and you can see the round is really interesting looking. I always found it very, very cool. I love that way it bottlenecks. The secret to loading these, if you're going to load them, is your crimp die. The crimp die, a good set of dies. Now I'm running kind of a hodgepodge mix of dies. Although my crimp die, I wound up just really just pulling the trigger on it and getting a Redding crimp die, and those are not cheap. Those of you loaders, hand loaders out there, you know when you hear that name, those are not cheap. The Lee sizing die I seem to be getting away with just fine. I've no issues of them chambering or whatnot. You know, so they do chamber a little bit better. My particular one, when I first got it, the chambers were a little tight. Was very fortunate that the place where I picked it up, the old little mom and pop shop where I picked it up, because I bought it through them and I didn't go online trying to save $25 and get it transferred over, they helped me out with that. And that, I'm really thankful for that, because the old man there that runs this place, he and his wife, really nice people, he went ahead and reamed the chambers for me just a little bit, not a whole lot, but just a little bit, opened them up just because the diameters were a bit tight. So he went ahead and did that for me, and the gun's been working fantastic ever since. But you know, I mean, that's what you get. I mean, I bought it through them, so, and they were willing to help me out, and that's good service there. So also this if you're going to mess around with this, it's going to be powder dependent. You really got to follow the book. I have found that tight group really work the best, because other powders foul it up and you get a little bit issues. So tight group I found is the best, and it's partly probably because it's a little bit finer of a powder and it burns up really quickly. So, but anyway, yeah, I figured we just kind of chat around here. Some people may like the video, not like the video. That's okay. We do have a full video of this, just the meat and potatoes kind of video on this particular one, but I figured we'd bring it back out just for giggles. And, you know, if you're like me and grew up watching El Dorado, Real Bravo, you know, Real Lobo, all those way too many times, a lot of those old classic stuff, you know, this is just going to be kind of something you're going to want. Thanks for watching.